if that was intended to be a non-suicidal message. And I don't know if that was a winking eye or a tearful eye. Let's look at it again. You tell me, Vortex, what is it? Because y'all are more familiar with all that shit than I am. Anytime that I see like an emoji, I was calling it emoji for the longest time, so I didn't even know how to say the word right. You know, people would send me an emoji, and I'm like, what the fuck is this, you know? I had no idea what it was. Still don't know what a lot of them are. My favorite is the beer glass. The beer glass emoji. It's a good one. It reminds me of the real thing. Okay, I guess we'll park up here. Fuck it. Fuck it! I'm going in this parking spot. Fuck it! I'm a funny bitch, aren't I? I told y'all that I'm performing tomorrow night to hold myself accountable. Because I said I was going to do it last week, didn't do it last week. Now, granted, I was doing something else that was important, but I feel like to avoid doing something that I know is what I'm supposed to do, what I feel called to do, even if it's not that much fun doing it, I always get something out of performing. Even though I really don't like performing. Like, there's always something that I learn. There's plenty to learn. You know, there's so much that you can learn from every experience. But especially the ones that aren't fun. You know, if you're not having a fun experience, do yourself and the rest of the world a favor and analyze it. And I guarantee you, if you analyze it, it'll make it worth your time. Because it's only a waste of time because of your perspective. Nothing's ever truly a waste of time, unless it's a relationship. But, no, like, I learned a lot from my relationships. I learned that I suck at them. So, it's like, I needed that proof. You know, I needed that proof. And I needed to be in an unconventional relationship with a person that's very similar to myself in order to prove to myself that I'm just not cut out for it. So I met Judson, this dear friend of mine, who I dated briefly back in 2022. I met him around the same time that I discovered the Orthodox Church. And I don't find that to be the slightest bit coincidental. Now, you know, if you're a fan of this channel, you know that we don't believe in coincidences. People that believe in coincidences are morons. Okay, so, when this happened, I was in a seemingly delusional period because I wanted to believe that maybe, just maybe, I could make something like that work. But I do think I don't just think, I feel. When your emotions and your thoughts line up in a positive way, in a way that's actually conducive to you, you know, doing healthy things. Because we see this a lot, you know, with people that, you know, their thoughts and their emotions are all out of whack. Negative. Anytime it's negative, you're doing bad things. You know, you're angry, you're really sad, you're doing things to pretty much ensure that you stay in that condition, right? Well, we try to be in whack, okay? Meow meow! Adios! Mañana! Meow meow! It's my Latino lover. He's obsessed with me. He wants to do me so bad. We have the same birthday. So that really means something, right? Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked. But yeah, what was I saying? When your thoughts and your emotions line up and it's healthy, that's from God, okay? But yeah, I really believe that I met this person at the same time that I discovered the ancient faith in order to show me that I'm meant to live and die alone. And it's a conviction. It's a conviction I've had since I was so young. And I really can't explain that to people that don't live by conviction. But anyway, you never know why somebody's in your life until later. So initially when I met this person, he stumbled into the bar where I was performing stand up, and he was already hammered when he got there. And my delusional thinking led me to believe that we were soulmates, and that's why this happened. Now I do believe that we're... See? Yeah, meow. 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 So, delusional thinking can lead you to believe a lot of things that at the moment you really, really want to believe. But upon further analysis, you'll realize, oh, I was just being delusional again. You know? I really wanted to believe this because there are certain aspects of myself that I don't want to accept. But all of our encounters reminded me that, you know, we could have this really strong connection, and it didn't have to mean what I wanted it to mean. You know, you see this a lot with like relationships, you know, that go south. People don't want to accept that, okay, this isn't meant to work out. And I've definitely been in that position. But, you know, I have always, like, had issues with being present in relationships. I've always had issues with just feeling like I was a shell of myself every single time that I've
had a boyfriend or whatever the fuck. And I don't have to feel like that. You know, I don't have to do that anymore. And that's so freeing. And I wish that people knew that, yeah, this whole idea of like companionship, it's not for everybody, you know? It's really not. And if you're your own companion, and if you have what I call a cerebral companion, there's nothing else that's going to suffice. Like, nobody else is going to be able to satisfy you like that. And I realized, you know, that it's like, if I'm spending so much of my time in my head, that's really not fair to a person that doesn't. You know? Like, even, like, people on the schizo spectrum, like, I mean, this person, like, he's a musician, and he's insanely talented, and he spends a lot of time by himself, too. He's not asexual, though. So, you know, he definitely wants to fuck. And, he wants to breed and all that. And that kind of shit horrifies me. And I don't know if it's like, I've just gotten older and I've grown more into myself. I've grown more into what I already was. But it's like, if the idea of companionship or marriage, family, all that, you know, modern, it doesn't have to be modern, by the way, it doesn't. I know plenty of people that make that work that aren't modern at all. But, you know, if just the idea of it makes you cringe, then yeah, that's probably not something that you're supposed to do, you know? No matter what society tells you, no matter what your family tells you. And you see this a lot with families, you know, pressuring their children to follow in their footsteps and do it like mommy and daddy or whatever. And friends do this too. I think that I am one of the most resilient when it comes to peer pressure. In fact, the more that people pressure me to do something, the less likely I am to do it. The more I will like dig in my heels and be absolutely convinced that I've always been right about it and these people are just stupid. But anyway. I mention that because I think that it is very stigmatized to be alone, and it's very stigmatized to like not have the desire to like be somebody's baby, you know what I mean? I mean, maybe it's not anymore because of like hookup culture and autism and all this shit, you know? Autism has made it acceptable to be socially awkward and not want shit to do with the human race. But that's why people accuse me of it all the time. I guarantee you it's more complicated than that.